I just mentioned before you came in here, Ed, that you sent a request over to the for the commissioners to consider a grant for the re-erection of the Krall Barn, which you've had in storage now for 4 years, maybe?
Since 2008. First off, I'm the third person as far as being the chairman on trying to resurrect this barn. We have about 116,000 that we've made so far that we designated from our balls that we have each November to set aside for the barn. We have a donor that's going to give us $100,000. The stock is already at, it's Hershey food stock, that's already at Mike Battistelli's firm, ready to go whenever we get the rest of it to get it resurrected. So the cost on this thing is, I don't have everything down. Right now I've got about $30,000 worth of site plan, structural engineering, architect fees that I know. I just got the paperwork on that, so I know that's there. I figure we're going to be around 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 to get the thing done is where we're going to be at, to hopefully get it up. Since I don't have the plans, I don't know exactly what we're going to put inside. I know what we want to put inside, but what that cost is going to be because I haven't gotten a price for it. As far as we want to have a serving kitchen in there, so if we want to rent it downstairs to any organization, school kids or anything like, we can have a caterer come in if they want to or things like that. But we are going to have an office out there because we know eventually we want that to tie in with the tourism so that there's somebody there permanently, like an employee. And then we're also going to have a ticket office there for the tickets for the canal ride. That's going to be on like one side of it. So if you kind of remember what your typical barn looks like, a lot of times you used to have a little milk shed that went off to the side of it. That's what we want to use for the bathrooms and the office and the ticket. And then the rest of it will be set up as a classroom is what we want to do with a serving kitchen. And then we want to have I have plans where try to get the roof up to at least 9 feet so that you don't feel cramped like you would in a regular barn. Yeah. And but I don't have any prices on the air conditioning, the heating, because I got to wait till I get the architecture things on that. So that's kind of where we're at. And then upstairs on the second floor of the barn, on the thrashing floor, we have like a Conestoga wagon that we want to put in there that we have stored someplace else, and some other old farm implement type things so that people will be able to go into. The only thing we're just not real sure yet is handicap accessible, even though it'll be a bank barn. We got to work that out, and the site engineer is going to be working on that. It makes sense to try to, I had an old historical barn that was built in the 1840s. My office used to be in for State Farm that I had for a number of years.
Could you repeat that? No, I'm just kidding.
And the problem was the second floor, trying to insulate that and do everything else. It was just cost prohibitive to even do that. So we just thought we're just going to leave it alone, because the most important thing about this barn is the Swiss structure with the roof structure that makes it unique, because when the Germans came over here and the Swiss came over here, they really reinforced the roofs on these barns because of the heavy snows that they had over in Switzerland and Germany. And that's what makes this barn so unique, because all of a sudden, about 1820, we converted over to the English style roofs, which weren't the same inside. So we want to keep that so it's open. When you look up, you can see it. We think this will look really nice, and especially with the rails and trails coming on the edge of the property, that'll be able to tie in with the barn and having it there. And the main thing we want to do is have it so we can try to get kids to go out there. And then my other thing is to look for it's like a small canal, working canal, only a smaller version that'll be outside the barn that you can see how it actually worked. So if kids are out there, they can kind of see how that thing worked.
Make sure you get Laura LeBeau out there to see that, because she said that she doesn't see anything about that brick wall out there that's interesting to see. Of course, it's a stone wall, but
yeah.
So make sure she gets to see that when you get it going.
Okay. And the other thing I guess I'd like to pass on, because I'm a real stickler when it comes to this. Everybody that I talk to, everybody that I'm working with on resurrecting this thing, as far as the construction, the plumbing and heating will be involved, the contractors, the engineers, everything are all from Lebanon County. That's just something I believe in, that the money was here. We raised the money here from what you're going to give us, what we've raised in the past, what we're getting, and I want it to go back to the people here in the community is what I want to do. I just think that's important. I don't want any outside event, because I don't think I have to go outside for any of the things that I need. And I did get some advice from a friend of mine that's in Berks County, and his office is in Lancaster County, but he has a business called Restore More. and he restored our old farmhouse that we had years ago up outside of Middletown. So he got me started on a couple things, and got me contact with things, but I just use him for my reference.
Well, you,
First of all, you mentioned you have 120,000 in Historic Society
About
donations.
115, 16, yeah.
And the $100,000 donor is a match, as I understand
Yes.
it. So
Yeah,
so it's there
It's
for
already
the
there.
matching.
It's matching there. It's already there at Stiefel Nichols. It's already there, ready to go. We just got to convert it. We're just letting it sit there because it's in stock. So it's first food. So we're just letting it sit there until we're ready to.
But you
to go.
need the match to get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but to do that, then that works. You
Yeah.
know, it's ready to go. It's already
get you
there.
very close.
And could you describe where this is to be located on the property?
Yeah, I didn't bring a map.
It's okay. I
But
think we're all pretty
it's real.
familiar with
Well, as soon as you pull into the park, when you make your left-hand turn off at 25th
Fifth,
Street,
right.
yeah, you turn in. It's going to be close to right there. We're somewhere where that parking lot's at now, because we want it to be close to the canal because of the ticket office, and then the parking will be moved down here below. It's where it's going to be moved. And we've already talked to the township, and they're okay with it, with that, with the trucks coming around there and things like that on 25th Street. So we're fine with them already. We've already had some brief conversation with them and stuff.
So
And
in
it's
the
gonna-
area just to the south of the what is now the parking lot?
Yeah,
Just a little
but
bit to
it's
the
going to be
south.
close to the canal. We
Okay.
want it close to the canal, so it's right there. People can park their cars, go up and get their tickets, and walk right over to where the boats are at. That's what we, you know, the boat, whatever, that's where we're at. With this coming, I'm thinking we might get started this summer. That's what I'd like to do. We got the stonemason, got to regulate things for him, because we're going to do the outside of it in stone, just like the regular barn would be, only we're going to put poured walls on the inside. We aren't going to stone it all the way like a normal old barn would be.
It'll be
And then
like
that way it'll
veneer,
make,
like a stone veneer, really.
the stone veneer is what it'll be, but we've got stone already been collected. It's old stone, so it's not anything new. It's all been collected, sitting out on the property out there. So it's there, and then we're gonna, veneer it up to the, and I figured it'll be nicer in there with those poured walls, and we can paint those or whatever we want to do as far as for that meeting room, classroom type thing we want to have down there.
But that, you're going to use the Superior wall system. They already have
Yep.
a mechanism into,
Yep.
you know,
Tabs
you can
and things
put,
to tie it down.
Yeah.
put down.
Oh, yeah, it'll be all tied fast, yeah. So I've already gotten the bid on that, he's from, the stonemason's from Lebanon County. So we kind of know what we want to have in there. I mean, we're not going to make it real fancy, we just want a serving kitchen in there. We know we got to have handicap bathrooms in there. We want to have a video, a TV screen video thing or something that we can project things. Whatever we want to do, and anybody wants to use it for that. So we want to do that. My idea was maybe to try to see if we could get an artist rendition of maybe what that canal, because we have some people doing research now on the canals, that we're going to take that information and use it maybe with a mural type thing on the wall, inside one of the walls, where we could do it, where you could kind of see, depict the 1840s, 30s, 1850s, what it was like. Something like that.
Do you have enough then, will you have enough then to make those improvements?
I think so, because we have some other donors that are willing to give some money once we start getting it erected. They were kind of reluctant to give us money till because they've been sitting on it since 2008 when those other two people
Right.
passed away. So it's kind of like, I've got names of people, I just got to get it going. Yeah, and I think once it starts to go up, then people are going to say, oh, hey, yes, we're ready to do something. Now we see that you're going to do something, so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so let me segue that then into the overall hotel tax distribution, if that's all right. So according to the treasurer, you have about $660,000 in hotel tax that's accumulated over the years, sitting in a fund. What you've already committed from that is $100,000 to the expo back in November for capital needs that they had to the expo center. In discussions with you, what your wishes seem to be here at this point, if I've got it written down here. Okay, so from the $661,000, there would be the $100,000 for the Expo grant, and they're drawing that down on an as-needed basis, retaining $100,000 for the county, for the board to consider grants on an as-needed basis. A $100,000 grant to the Historical Society for the Krall Barn resurrection, and the remainder, which I'll just call it the remainder, but in round numbers, about $360,000, would be available to the TPA, the Lebanon Valley DMO, to utilize for any expenses they may have with a indefinitely, no real deadline to it, to use on a drawdown basis for establishing their existence or their operations. And then
And we would approve those drawdowns.
right, and that'd be on a drawdown basis, just like the expo, correct? So that's what we're talking about is what's been accumulated, what's sitting, on deposit in an account. That is separate from what you established at your last meeting, through the ordinance, which was the distribution of the hotel tax as it comes in from March forward. That was the 2% to the treasurer, 10% of the remainder to the commissioners, 35% to the expo, 55% to the TPA.
And that's beginning
that's
effective
done
this month. Right?
That's yep. As we speak, they're, I think, getting those checks prepared to go out, or check. So what I'm proposing to you today is the distribution of that $660,000 in the manner that I described. $100,000 you've already committed to in the expo, $100,000 to a commissioner grant program, $100,000 for the Krall Barn, and the remainder to be available drawdown for the TPA.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to distribute the money as per Jamie's. I can repeat it if you want me to, but I think we understand it, right? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So ordered.
My next thing is to go to the architect and the engineer and say, okay, let's start on the drawing so I can get it, so we kind of know it, get that all tweaked, so.
Are you looking for a completion date? I mean, now you can really.
Well, I guess it's still got to decide once I get the architect, and then I got to go back to my contractors, because been messing with them over the last 2 years trying to get into, so until I got to get on their schedule and then try to go. So I don't know. I would venture to say if we can get it going this year, that we'll have it up and running by this time next year. That's kind of my target. That's my goal, is to have it in the spring, have it done,